Moving on to National 2 West, where the survival bid at bottom club Devonport Services received a major boost in round 20. Now, Ben Russell's side, they beat Hinckley in round 19 to potentially reignite their hopes of pulling off a great escape from the drop. But that now feels more tangible for Devonport Services after they defeated 12th place Macclesfield 38-34 at the Rectory Field last time out. Aidan Taylor and Charles Groves both scored twice for Devonport Services in a result that leaves them 6 points behind 13th place Bourneville in the table. So a key result for Devonport Services in round 20. And despite defeat, it was also a decent afternoon for Macclesfield, who headed home from the southwest with 2 bonus points of their own. And that could be key in their own survival bid. But in terms of table rivals Bourneville, it was another Saturday and another weekend where they failed to pick up any points of their own, while those around them in the standings were able to add to their tallies. This time, Bourneville lost 64-19 away at 10th placed Hinckley. But despite Callum Dacey scoring 4 tries for Hinckley, it wasn't all one-way traffic, because Bourneville actually led 19-17 heading towards the break before Hinckley went through the gears at Leicester Road to take the game away from their Midlands counterparts. And on Wednesday, Bourneville announced that head coach Matt Price had stepped down from his role at the club after almost 2 seasons in charge. The Chocos were actually 6th in the standings in October, but one win from their last 12 games did play a part in Price's decision to leave Avery Fields, with assistant coach Alex Grove taking charge of the club for the final 6 games of this campaign. So another tough week for the Chocos, and last weekend's setback at Hinckley keeps Bourneville in the bottom 2, with Macclesfield now 4 points clear of them, as you can see, and also confirmation that Devonport Services are right back in the fight after back-to-back wins. Just above those sides are 11th place Exeter University, who did collect a try bonus point in a 44-28 defeat against league leaders Cambourne in round 20. And in terms of the table toppers, that result away from home stretched their own unbeaten run to 9 games, and they also maintained their 6-point lead over second place Clifton, who passed a real test of their title credentials as they fought hard to eventually see off 5th place Redruth 39-28 at Station Road. A really good advert, this one, for National 2 West, but it was 2 tries in the final quarter from Tom Anderson that did seal the deal for the Lavender and Blacks, who keep applying the pressure to Cambourne with 6 games to go in the campaign. Elsewhere in the top half, Cinderford occupied 3rd place again after beating Taunton Titans 34-21, and a nominee for comeback of the season must go to Hornets, who lifted themselves into the top 7 after a stunning 31-29 victory over rivals Old Redcliffians at Scotland Lane. Now, Old Reds looked like they had won it when Will Luxford finished off a brilliant move to put the home side 29-14 up on 71 minutes, but 2 tries in the final 5 minutes from Luke McMullen and Josh Shepherd turned the game on its head before McMullen landed a penalty with the last kick of the game to complete a remarkable fight back for a Hornet side who are well and truly on course for their best ever finish in National 2 West, and Hornets are actually our second feature club of the week on the National League Rugby preview show. This is Hornets' 3rd consecutive season at this level, and after back-to-back 12th place finishes, as well as fending off relegation at times, the Western Supermare outfit are now targeting a place in the top 7 and are actually only 1 point away from equaling the points total that they had from last year. So really a season of progression for Hornets so far, and all of this with a squad that is made up of 80% homegrown players with a sprinkling of talent elsewhere, with the likes of England under-20 international George Timmins spending some time on loan from Bath with Hornets last season, while Bristol Bears prop and Wales under-20 international Sam Scott played for Hornets during the first half of this season. And it's that blend within the squad and the environment which has been created at Hornets which has contributed to the progression of the side this term. So to find out more and to look ahead to this Saturday's clash against Luctonians, we linked up with Hornets director of rugby John Richardson and head coach Jack Gadd. John, let's start with you. And I know we touched on it yesterday when we had a brief phone call looking ahead to this interview, but how are the emotions now? How is the heart rate now after the win over Old Redcliffians at the weekend? Obviously, late tries and that late penalty from Luke sealing the victory. But to come from 29-14 down in the last 5 minutes to win a game, I can't imagine either of you have been involved in such a dramatic comeback like that.
No. A lot of people around the club will tell you that I'm not speechless very often, and that was definitely probably the first time in a few years. It was an unbelievable finish. I mean, 5 minutes to go to be 15 points down, and for the lads to still have the belief and carry on playing the way that we know they can, and to finish off a game like that was just remarkable.
I told the boys after the game in the post-match huddle that 5 minutes ago, what I prepared to say to them was very, very different. We were a little bit frustrated, and I know the guys were a bit frustrated with how we played going down the hill at Old Red. We did a lot of hard work going up the hill and put ourselves in a really good position. And then probably didn't take very many chances coming down and made real hard work of it. And fair play to them. They gave us a little bit of a lesson of how to absorb some pressure and then come up the other end and score when they got their chance. But it is a massive thing that we've improved on over the last sort of 18 months, that belief and that positivity, and knowing that if we get a chance or we get a bit of momentum, anything can happen. And that, there's no better example of that than what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, and that belief, Jack, has that just kind of come from the experience of being in National 2 now? Because this is the third consecutive year you've been in National 2 West. So when you talk about belief and improving, is that just kind of learning lessons from the last couple of seasons and now we're seeing that kind of rub off, if you like?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we struggled a little bit in the first 2 seasons with accepting that teams are allowed to have good spells against us. And when that sort of happened, rather than trying to find a way to get our momentum back and do the simple things and get back in the game, we'd sort of hit the self-destruct button a little bit and try and do the special thing, which then against good teams that are experienced at this level, their little bit of momentum that maybe they would have had for 10 minutes turns into 30 minutes momentum and you're way behind the eight ball. So I think that's the lesson we've learned, is to how to absorb a bit of pressure and to still know that we're going to get another chance at some point, and it's just making sure that we build ourselves back into the game to be able to take it when it comes.
And just kind of looking at the table from this year and comparing it to last year, I think you're only now 1 point off the points total you achieved last year. So obviously looking up rather than behind you this year. So that must be really nice. And again, going back to the point we said to Jack before, it just shows the progression of the side, doesn't it? To be in this position now and going, do you know what? Top half finish is more than achievable for us.
Yeah, it came a bit of a surprise. I mean, it wasn't too many weeks ago when we were somewhere near where we have been for the most of our time in National 2 West. But you put a decent run together, and you seem fly up the table, and we've been fortunate enough to do that. And like you say, now we are looking forward because we've got the majority of our squad are fit and ready to go. So we're confident.
Yeah, and John mentions there kind of, having the availability you have within the squad, but it feels like this Hornet squad has developed together, if you like, certainly from our point of view in a National League Rugby sense. A lot of the same faces we've seen over the last 3 years, and I know kind of the homegrown element is so important to Hornet, so that must give you guys as a coaching group real confidence that when you are progressing, you're doing it with lads that are homegrown. They know exactly what direction the club wants to go in.
Yeah, no, it's massive for us. And we speak about family and we speak about group of lifelong friends, and that's really what we have got here. And I've been involved with the club for for 10 years on and off, and John's been here for 12 years, and to be able to bring a lot of those players through Colts, who are now sort of the experienced players now in National League Rugby, and now also at this end of the spectrum, as we're sort of almost seeing them getting to the end, we're now seeing a new batch of youngsters come through, and to have 4 18-year-olds that came on and were all on the pitch to finish the game on Saturday, that have come through our junior system, our Colt system, and now they're out there doing the business for the first team, is a really great place to be. And it's on and off the pitch really, Chris, because we are all so close, and we're now all sort of going through the same stage of life with having babies and getting married and all that. And I don't know, I said to John the other week, it feels like we've done something, we've got it really right this year.
It basically comes down to what we've got at the club. We don't have a huge budget to bring, the finished articles in all the time. We have to develop our own players, and we take huge pride in that. Developing youngsters and making them feel part of this club, and they know that we're not going to go out and spend big money and bring people in that if they play for Hornets they'll get a chance. That just creates a togetherness and a trust. I think there's a trust within the club and the group that we will always back our own, and that's what happens. And there are lads that have come in from elsewhere, don't get me wrong, of course there are, but they've added to that group as well.
Yeah, because we were talking before we went on air that I think it's 80% of the squad is homegrown, John. But you mentioned there that kind of some lads do come in from other places to help the squad, and and over the last couple of years, a couple of lads on loan. Obviously George Timmins from Bath, who's now doing great things with the England under-20s, and obviously Sam Scott as well, who is playing for you in the first half of the season and was part of that Wales under-20 side that beat Ireland the other week. But these guys, you touched on there, they have to have the right attitude, don't they? And you always see on Hornets' social media, you guys championing the fact that they're doing great things at the moment. So they've been part of this journey as well as the homegrown lads, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure most National 2 clubs welcome academy lads in from Premiership sides, and we're lucky enough to have George from Bath last year, who, watched him on the telly on a Friday night, picking up man of the match for England against France earlier on in the Six Nations, and then Sam, who's been with us for most of this season, picking up man of the match for Wales against Ireland. It just makes you feel really proud of what we're doing, and like I say, giving these young lads a chance to develop, and then them taking it away and doing what they want with it. Really, it's just fantastic to see.
So playing at Hornets was massive for me. Obviously, Six Nations last year, I didn't get selected at the start, so I was a bit disappointed. It just made me strive more for Hornets, so I carried on playing as much as I could for them, getting some good game time, and then soon later in that year got called up into the 20s. So playing that block at Hornets was massive for me, just trying to express myself on the field, keep working on what I'm working on, and getting game time mainly. Coming out of school and you don't get to play much senior rugby. So it's a great transition for younger lads at clubs to be able to go down to a close club with a good group of people down there who are all trying to do the same thing and just play rugby and have fun. And they've got a great setup down there, and it's just really good for the young lads just to try and get a lot of game time under their belt, transitioning into that senior rugby side of things. So for me, I had a good mentality for it, to be honest, because it's sort of you either stay at your club and you don't play any games at all, or you can go somewhere. It may be a little step down, but like I said, it was my first year in professional rugby, so it was sort of good for me because I could find my feet in senior rugby and sort of take it from there. But it's more about the thing where you're going to develop more if you're playing than if you're not. You can only do so much on a training field, and to be able to go down there and them to welcome you with open arms and to get you playing is amazing. So you can keep developing as a player as you're playing.
You're absolutely spot on, John. The amount of people we hear and talk to about how important National 1 and National 2 are to the development of these young players is so important to the wider picture of their rugby journey, and Hornets are very much playing a part in that in those two examples with George and with Sam. But Jack, just to kind of bring it back to the here and now to this weekend, the final 6 games of the campaign. Obviously, Luctonians at home to come on Saturday, and obviously you moved ahead of them in the table last weekend, and you had a pretty narrow game against them earlier in the season where I think you really impressed in the first half, but they came back. But giving you purple patch of form, the confidence that has probably been galvanised in the group over the last few weeks, you must be feeling confident, looking forward to this game on Saturday.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. I think we are firm believers that every week's different, and you got to treat every week and every team with the respect that you would, regardless of momentum or position in the league. But we do enjoy playing against Luctonians. We've never managed to beat them yet while we've been in this league, which is one of the only teams I think that we're still got that record against. So, we'll be really excited to welcome them down here, and be really excited to play the Hornets way and to see if that's good enough this time to get us over the line. And we set ourselves some goals and targets at the beginning of the year, and we've kind of sort of already surpassing those. But we also know that over the last 2 years, when we managed to get our goal, which was to be safe, we've seen a bit of a drop off in performances after that. So we're going to just about to review the game for Saturday and go down, and the message is that we've worked too hard now to put ourselves in a position to then sort of dribble into the end of the season, really. So like I said before, every game with the same respect that we treated the last with, and we really want to push to be in the mix of that top 6, because the boys have worked really, really hard and committed a lot of their time and efforts, especially with what's going on with their lives at the moment, to put the club in this position. And I really want to see, especially for a couple of the boys that might decide to hang the boots up at the end of the year, that we cash in now on this momentum and the hard work and really finish in style, really.
So big thanks to John and to Jack for their time on Tuesday, and also a massive thanks to England U20 international George Timmins for the guest appearance during that interview. As we said before the interview, George did play for Hornets in National 2 West last season, but he is now very much part of an England U20 side that are targeting a Six Nations Grand Slam. So good luck to George and the rest of the England U20s lads for the next couple of weeks. I'm sure everybody connected to Hornets will be cheering George on, and I know both John and Jack will want to see those Hornet supporters out in force at the Nest on Saturday when they host Luctonians. And Hornets are actually aiming for a 4th successive win for the first time in just over 3 years. They have never achieved it in National 2 West over the last 3 seasons. So that is a carrot for Hornets and their supporters on Saturday. As for Luctonians, they will be aiming to arrest a run of 4 straight defeats in round 21, where we also have 6 other excellent games to look forward to. And we mentioned Bourneville in the first part of our National 2 West chat, and Alex Grove will be looking to galvanise his troops for a huge game against Exeter University at Avery Fields on Saturday. And you could say the same in terms of a crucial fixture for 12th place Macclesfield, who are back at Priory Park to face Hinckley. It's a 6 p.m. kickoff, this one, in Cheshire, as Mac look to once again strengthen their survival bid at home, while a 4th win from the last 6 away matches would all but guarantee Hinckley another season in National 2. And with the sides directly above them all facing off, it could be a chance for Devonport Services to take advantage, but that is most certainly easier said than done, as they go to a Red Roof side who have won their last 5 matches at home. But remember, Devonport Services did beat their hosts back in round 9, but the Reds are a different proposition to what they were 4 months ago. As for the title race, the latest chapter sees Camborne back at the Recreation Ground. The league leaders have won all 10 of their home games this term, while Old Redcliffians head to Cornwall on the back of 4 straight defeats. And after last weekend's examination against Redruth, second place Clifton face another tricky assignment in their promotion push, as in round 21 they go to 4th place Taunton, who are unbeaten at home this term. So can Clifton become the first side to breach Verity's Park since Bishop Stortford did it in National 1 almost exactly a year ago to the day? So a challenge that Clifton will be relishing on Saturday. And lastly, it was a good week for Cinderford, who not only returned to winning ways in round 20, but they also received the news that they've been granted planning permission to install a state-of-the-art 3G pitch, which is set to add to the transformation of facilities at the club's Dockham Road home. So Cinderford will certainly want to keep the good vibes going in round 21 when they travel to an informed Loughborough Students.